All right, good morning. Here, maybe I'll make sure they're coming in from the other side. All right, good morning.
Venezuela couldn't relate.
I'm gonna check to make sure nobody's on the other one. Hey guys, yes, I was having everybody use a Zoom link. Oops. Yeah, there's a All right, good morning. So I'm going to put you into groups. What you'll do is you could just continue working on your territory thing. And when I enter your group, I would like to see a discussion between you and your partner or other group members on how moral do we want our president to be? How should morality fit into our foreign policy? And so I'd like you to refer to any notes you have. You can talk about in relation to the territory you're studying. Was morality used when we took over those territories? You could refer to it like maybe that introduction we read yesterday. So I'll be looking for references to history in kind of making up your opinion. So I am now going to put you all back into your groups. You can just keep working. Sorry, 11th day. And Karen, somebody's microphone is on in the background. Oh. Yeah, somebody's microphone's on back there. Here, let me see if I can see who. Is that Kindle? Is that you? No, that yours is off. I think it's Zoe. All right, here. Let's Evan, do you know what group you were in?
I was absent for the past like 2 days because I've been really sick, so I don't think I have one.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'm just going to stick you in a group for now. Maybe you could read over the directions on what we're doing. I mean, each group has a territory that the U.S. took over 100 years ago. So we're just comparing what were the circumstances of us taking over that territory and what's the relationship with that territory today.
Okay.
So I'm just going to, maybe you could work with another group and they can kind of give you something to do. Here, I'm just going to randomly stick you in with Felix and Steven.
Okay, thank you.
All right, here we go. I'm opening up the rooms and I'll just go ahead and begin with room one, I guess.
Mr. Newman, I had a question.
Yes.
I think 2 days ago I was marked absent, but I was in class.
Okay, I will fix that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Okay, so you guys are which territory?
Panama.
All right. Well, so I forgot to put the question in chat. How moral do you think our president should be? So, do you feel it's more important for us to just worry about our strategic interests, or should there be more of a moral leaning?
Before we go, Mr. Newman, the meet's only gonna last for 40 minutes because the Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. We only have about 25 minutes left. So I'll just have to, maybe I'll pick it up again tomorrow too, to do the last few groups. Well, we'll just spend a couple minutes. So what's your opinion on this?
We both kind of agree on this. We're both on the same side, but I decided to take the opposite side for the debate.
All right, well,
So,
so what is the opposite argument?
so I'm saying that the U.S. should not be should be less moral in their foreign policy and what how they deal with other countries, because other countries are currently like centering themselves, worrying about themselves first for development and industry and everything. So if the US does not put themselves first and their strategic advantages first, then we might be falling behind and on the world stage and stuff.
For me, I argued that they should take morals into account because like the US is really powerful and strong. And there's a lot of like instances where like other countries where a lot of people were more harmed, like Panama, when they took over, 500 of Panama's people died while only 23 like US soldiers died. And that's like a lot with like other countries. Like the US is more powerful because of all their resources. So I think they should like help out other countries and just like take into like morals into account.
Yeah, Panama's like the ultimate example, because we basically took it to build the Panama Canal. So it really was almost completely a strategic. I think they made up some reason to invade it, like that they wanted their independence from Colombia.
All my points are against my own argument.
So it's a good question. Like, because how did Colombia feel about having a piece of it taken away like that? I haven't really looked into it too much myself, but I'm curious. Did the Panamanians really want independence, or was that something the Americans kind of made up?
So the US went into Panama. Like in the research I said that high in the government of Panama was also part of the US CIA and had screwed over the CIA in some way. So they also took that into account because he had a lot of government secrets or something, and he was like, yeah, he tried to break away from the CIA and like,
All
yeah,
right.
that's basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sure there's a lot more we could talk about here. Well, I think I am going to move on to the next group. Well, thanks for your efforts. And all right. Well, I will see you guys later. Okay. Hey, Romani, how are you?
Hey,
All right. I guess Batavia is not here today. I didn't see her on the list.
yeah, she's not here.
Okay. Yeah. So what are you doing? Panama?
Yeah,
Okay. So what do you think? How moral do you think our presidents should be?
with Panama.
Well, I mean, in general, I guess the question was more a generalized question, and then you could use Panama as an example.
So I feel like the president just has like a more obligation to be like to do what's necessary for the country and the people of the country, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of these foreign nations, we have to treat them like people, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Did we do that in Panama?
I mean, I feel like Panama, the case was like it looked healthy. It seems healthy because they bought the canal and then they paid them annually and they received their independence from the United States buying the canal. So I feel like it was pretty fair. And
Yeah, because at first, what Panama was part of Colombia, and then so I guess that's really the question: was it moral to take Panama from Colombia? So I don't know much about their history. Like, did the Panamanians want their independence from Colombia, or was that something that we created?
I don't know that, but like I feel like it seems like it was better off for Panama because I feel like by what I was reading, they wanted their independence.
Okay. So there was an independence movement and we encouraged it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wrote down your phrase moral obligation, that when we do interact with other countries, there is a moral component. All right. Well, thanks. I'm going to move to the next group.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. How are you guys? So what's your opinion? How moral should an American president be?
I think it should be like a balance. So we should try to be moral, but as long as it's not getting in the way of our foreign policy, so that way people don't take advantage of us. So the place that we're studying is Panama. So Panama, the U.S. Invaded it because it was like a major hub for drugs and trafficking. So the U.S. wanted to stop that. So I think there was a bill passed by Roosevelt in let me check, in 1977, and then after that the U.S. invaded Panama, and I don't think it was immoral because not a lot of people were killed. It was just 500 people that died, and most of those were people from from Panama's military and people that were selling drugs. There was only like I think 23 people that were civilians that were killed. Everyone else was with the military.
Do you agree or disagree, Tafik?
That presidents should be able to make tough decisions because at the end of the day, it's kind of the job. Like you have to be able to make certain decisions that other people wouldn't make. But I do think that there is a line that needs to be drawn when it comes to what decisions need to be made. Like just bombing or invading a certain country for no reason at all. Like that's a line that needs to be drawn. If there's actual like reasons for participating in some type of battle or invade or occupation, then yeah. But if there's no reason, if you're only doing it for like resources or to acquire a part of that country that isn't yours, then that's a line that needs to be drawn.
Yeah, I like that. I wrote that down, that the president has to make tough decisions. Should be a line, must be drawn on maybe where they'll take action. That's pretty good. And Panama is probably the ultimate example because we took it to build the Panama Canal. So it's the most strategic spot in the world. All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to move on here. You keep working.
Oh, hey, Mr. Newman.
Guys, how are you?
We're doing fine. We're just discussing about the metaphors because we finished the debate a while ago. I have a question though for like number
Yes.
4, where we have to create the metaphors.
Yeah.
So do we make one that shows how America sees the relation, like the relationship, and one for Mexico? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. One kind of pro-American and one kind of anti-American.
Okay, got it. So we were just like discussing how like our president should like be right in the middle, because like the book, right, the Do Morals Matter, it broke up like into like three factors. Like one is like motives. The second one talked about like the means, and then the third one it was talking about like consequences. But like what I think matters most is like what the consequences are, because like if you look at like all the past presidents, right? Like Richard Nixon, for example, right? He ended the Vietnam War, but then he sacrificed like thousands of American lives. So then Americans just think that's like immoral. So I feel like it's like the consequences that the president should think about the most. But in the end, I think it needs to be like a balance, because you can't act like fully on morals or by like the means.
That's good. Nixon's a good example because he's considered an amoral president, but he did end the Vietnam War. That's the perfect example, because he said he was going to end the war, but then it lasted another 3 years. So yeah, he was kind of balancing our strategic needs with morality.
Yeah, so like, because like not everyone's gonna like think the same way, obviously. So I just feel like there needs to be that balance where like the president sees both sides.
Very good. Yeah, like somebody in the last group said, presidents have to make tough decisions.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, and the fact that we did give Panama back, they became we gave the canal back to them, so they own the Panama Canal now. So it shows that we do believe in some level of democracy. Do you have an opinion on this, Ashley?
Well, when we discussed this earlier, I agreed with Gwen and how like America should have like a balance between being like, oh, only America and foreign policy, and how like there should be a moral cut line where we're like we should take care of other countries and like promote our democratic ideals, but also only if the country wants it, because in history America has like stayed too long after wars or something, and then the citizens hate America and they're like, get out of my country and all that.
That's a good point, that we always stay too long. Yeah, Iraq is a perfect example. I mean, why did we stay in Iraq so long? All right, guys. Well, thank you. I'm going to move on to the next group and keep doing what you're doing. Hey guys, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
How moral do you think our president should be?
I think we need like more exceptionalism. Like I feel like we need to be kind of moral, and have cases where like we like think about how like other countries are benefiting, and like I feel like it's kind of like equal. Like I don't think we should be having like resources or like things that we can gain, but like it should be like for both sides.
Yeah, I was looking at that, like other countries and their morals.
And maybe other countries have a different idea of what moralism is, I guess. So I like how you said it kind of needs to benefit both. Well, and there's this idea of goodwill too. You don't want people hating you, seeing you as a dictator, or maybe you do.
From like what I remember from yesterday in the book we read, like that America had like a different standard of like exceptionalism, because like I think like I think it was like on page 3 where it said that like France and America, like they had like very high standards of like being unique, and because like France was still under like the whole of Europe, like they couldn't have like they couldn't go through with everything. But because America was kind of like on its own, we have the power and like authority to do that. And I thought it was like pretty interesting. So that also like ties in with that.
We are, it's right. We are an empire, so we can set the tone. All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to move on to the next group, and you guys can just keep working on what you're doing. Hey guys, how are you? All right. So how moral do you think your president should be?
So I was working by myself. I didn't realize that someone else was in here. But so in regards to my territory, I feel as though it should remain. I feel as though it should move more towards exceptionalism, because Puerto Rico has still not become a state, even though many, prove it. And back when Trump was president, most of the Senate were Republican. So I feel as though now that Biden is president, they may lean more towards becoming Puerto Rico a state. So, I mean, even though now it's in the middle, I feel like we're going to lean more towards the left side now that we can be more open towards Puerto Rico and its benefits.
Yeah, I feel that like in general, just sort of like overall, like in terms of what we should do, I think we should lean more towards the left, like towards exceptionalism, just because it like benefits the most people that way. And like obviously there should be a certain degree of like putting America first and like taking care of ourselves, but like only to a certain extent, because really we should be trying to help as many people as we can.
Yeah, I guess it goes both ways. Yeah, we don't want to be seen as a dictator or anything, or maybe we do. D'Angelo, were you in a group? Did you need to get with a group or?
Oh yeah, I was like I was confused about it. So on Monday, I think I was in this group, and then yesterday I got like flip-flopped into a group with Melina and Kindle, and now I'm back
Oh,
here.
maybe I'll stick you back in there just so you have a group. Have you just been kind of working on it yourself, or
Kinda, yeah.
what
Like
territory have you been working on?
with Kindle and Melina, we had like split that up for
Oh,
Mexico.
good. Yeah, I can switch you back into that too.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, Yismith, anything else you want to say there?
I was gonna ask you, is it fun if like for the background research, we just put in like a paragraph, like a good lengthy paragraph, or no?
Yeah, I think so. Do you mean like questions 1 to 3 and then
Yeah.
like 6 and 7 or whatever? Yeah, you can just put it onto a doc.
Okay. Also, for like the last question, talking about like the morality and all of that, like what do you want? Like a paragraph talking about what we discussed yesterday?
Yeah, basically what you just said now.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
thank you. All right, D'Angelo, I'll put you back in with Melina here. I think that was 6, right? Yep. All right, I'll see you later. Hey guys, how are you?
Hello.
Right. So how moral do you think a president should be?
Um,
we think that that the president should take into account of our morals into like making foreign policy decisions, because not only does the foreign policy affect the president, but it also affects the citizens of the US. And like you know how like Trump, like the policies towards like China and etc. It has affected us a lot. And yeah, I think he should take into account of how it would affect us. And like, yeah, that's what we think.
Yeah, it's I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say I mean, people really heavily criticize Trump. I don't think he really did anything terrible
Yeah.
with foreign policy, but at the same time, he didn't really, well, I think the separating the children from the families in the southern border, I guess that was pretty amoral.
Yeah.
I guess he wanted to scare people so they wouldn't come to the border. Yeah, that was probably his most amoral thing. He didn't really, and I guess negotiating with the North Korean dictator was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good example. I mean, the difference between Trump and Biden is really that spectrum that we're talking
Yeah, it is.
All right. What do you think, Justin?
Well, an example I have of a president being like not taking morals into account is when James Polk decided to invade Mexico, even though they're like, we don't want to give you this land, or like we don't want to sell it. So, and like even though most people voted no against like taking the land, James Polk decided to invade them anyways. And I think that's like an example where you should take into account of like morals.
It's a good example because it's purely strategic. There was like no moral calculation in that at all. They just wanted the land. Now, it turns out a lot of the Mexicans who lived in Texas and California were kind of happy to join the United States. But yeah, the Mexican government, though, was not happy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. We only got a couple minutes left. I'm going to move to the next group, and I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Hey guys, how are you? All right. So how moral do you think your president should be? What do you think?